Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the latest edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Mr. Eric Haynes and Dave Purdy, brought to you by Four Guys in a Bar. I am your host, Nick Athan, former publisher of Warpaint Illustrated. Next to me, Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports LLC. Check out his YouTube channel and YouTube show every Saturday, 1 o'clock Central Time at Bowtie Sports. And before we get started, and what I think is going to be a pretty entertaining show, we have a lot to talk about today. First, let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your real estate advisor. What we love about Eric is, I guess maybe we can talk about Dave first. It's all good. We adapt here. Let's talk about my good friend, Dave Purdy. You can reach him at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he's pretty good, and he's also really, really good at finding a mortgage for individuals who may not be the easiest people to qualify for. I am a self-employed individual. Raise your hands if you're self-employed. It is not easy to get a loan these days for people who are self-employed because as a self-employed, you can make a lot of deductions and you show a lower gross adjusted income, which mortgage companies don't like. So Dave had to sort through 1,000 different loan products and 1,000 different companies, and he finally found one. We're closing Friday. We can't be more excited. You got to have a guy who understands the financial markets, the impact of credit scores, who can analyze and do a deep analysis of your debt. Even if you're thinking about doing a mortgage, give him a call at 816-405-5831 and let him give you a free evaluation and find any solution for you that might help you with the bottom line. Again, that's Dave Purdy, 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is
pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, we'll do the next one too. And again, my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785. He is your number one real estate advisor in Kansas City. This is what you want from a real estate advisor. Somebody who can go through all the paperwork madness that it takes to look at a house, write a contract, get the appraisals done, go through all the inspections, negotiate with the other realtor, and make sure that you're getting the best deal you can. He did that for me and my wife, Emily. Again, we close on Friday. It's been a whirlwind circus. I have beat this man up to no end. I have phone calls, text messages. In fact, he was down here on Friday just to make sure everything in the house was the way it was so we can close. You want someone who's hands-on, and that's Mr. Eric Haynes. So give him a call at 816-729-3785. And he is also.
May we join? Are we good?
You may join now. Sorry about that. Now? Little curveball.
Proud sponsor, right. Chief Who. Okay, so we get a text this morning that today is going to be Hense's last show. He's taken a full-time job with TMZ, so he is truly TMZ Todd. There were other rumors out there that maybe he was going to be with Casey Chiefs Media. I don't believe that for a second. It's TMZ all the way. So Todd, let's do it. I mean, you kept us on mute long enough. We had a lot to say.
Yes, he did.
Now you got yourself on mute. What are you doing, man?
He said I'm going Hollywood.
Just ignore it.
Apparently you forgot how to do this show.
It's sinking in. It's sinking in. They said that. They said I'm leaving. I'm going TMZ. I'm going to the Chiefs. I'm going Hollywood. I ain't going nowhere. I was an April Fool's joke. I'm staying here at the Chiefs with Chiefs Blitz, Bowtie Sports. But it was a nice morning. I had to throw it off because it's been a crazy weekend. I tried to light the mood before the show. It's been a crazy weekend. Yeah. If you a Chiefs fan,
you got me.
Yeah. So we also want to apologize. We were out Friday, had some technical difficulties. Lou had a little little off the field thing he had to take care of.
A little cleanup on the knee.
Little knee scope.
Yeah.
And we all had a busy, crazy weekend. Of course, the guys on the other part of the screen, Lou Montagna and Mr. Andre Tillman, sporting the Kansas City Royals, who are now 1-2 on the season. Hense and I were out on opening day. It was pretty great. It's great to have baseball back. Big vote tomorrow in Kansas City. We'll talk about that toward the end of the show for the stadium sales tax and the ramifications of that as well. But obviously, guys, we all woke up Sunday morning to internet rumors, text messages, phone calls about the situation with Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. Now, he has not been charged with a crime. It has not been proven that he was on scene, either in the car as a passenger, trailing behind. There are pictures of guys walking off that I can't tell if that's Rashee Rice or not. At the end of the day, there's very little that we know other than I believe Josina Anderson put a quote out that said that he has retained legal counsel. I can confirm that that is indeed the case. He is going to be very well represented in this situation. But I have to say, I was really shocked at some of the commentary and some of the things being thrown out yesterday. And even when this morning I tried to just kind of graciously say, hey, he's a 25-year-old kid, and people were jumping all over me. I want to hold Rashee Rice accountable if he's guilty. I want to hold Rashee Rice accountable. The Chiefs will hold him accountable. His teammates will hold him accountable. We don't know if he was on scene or not. We don't know if he lent the car to somebody. We don't know if he's just bad judgment of the entourage around him. We don't know anything yet. But the fact that it's been so quiet for what now? This happened Saturday afternoon. We're almost into 48 hours.
Right.
That tells me there's something going on, and they don't want anybody to know about it. And I tried all Sunday with everybody I knew. Said, hey, just give me something. And we got some confirmation of a few things that he may not have been involved or may have not been there. But, again, we don't know for sure. But the bottom line is it's not a good look for the Chiefs. It's not a good look for Rice. The silence is bad considering, well, as I mentioned before, on Tuesday, a big stadium tax vote is going on. And this may alter some people's opinions of the Chiefs. I hope not. But I can't decide. I can't determine. We don't know anything. We should find out at some point today. I think the attorney will come out and say something publicly. It was a holiday weekend. It was Easter weekend. Probably not what we were expected. I'm out there doing Easter egg hunt with my boy, and Hense is calling me, and I start getting these text messages, and other people start calling me like, listen, guys, I don't even know what you're talking about. Anonymous Mango just started sending me these instant messages like, what happened? What do you know? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So it kind of threw us all off in a curveball. So just to level the field here, yes, he's hired an attorney. That's number one. Two, we do not know 100% whether he was in the car, a passenger in the car. Well, all we know is that car is registered to him, and what was in the car may have been his, may not have been his. I think that's what's being determined at the moment. And that's about all I understand of the situation. So, guys, thoughts, opinions, conspiracy theories, whatever it is at this point, it's fair game.
We got to make it to where, man, they got to start taking lifts. When you're a rookie, man, you can't be having these sports cars, man. You can't be because it's nonsense, man. It's like, come on, let's be a little smarter next time, man. Let's be a little smarter.
I can't imagine what I would be like at that age and having that kind of cash and whatever. I mean, but it's all speculation still. Like right. You said, Nick, they can't even tell if that, was that him in the car or was he, again, it's 99% speculation. I guess we can't confirm, like you said, attorney, whatever. I guess the frustrating thing is when you see all the reports and I guess, so-called insiders and whatever, and they kept repeating the phrase that the police are actively looking for him. Like he's like, I don't know. He's like fleeing the country or something. I mean, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Go to his house. I'm sure you could track him down.
Yeah, I don't think he was hiding.
When you don't know what to say, these blank, just vague statements just creates kind of everybody thinking, and we got to know right now. We got to have the information, and it's just not forthcoming. So people just start wildly speculating about all the different things that it could be. We still don't know. But again, if his name was registered, whether he was there or not, his name is on it. He's the most famous of them all. He's the most recognizable. So he's going to be attached to whatever the hell happened here. And you just hope it's not nearly as bad as what everybody is speculating. There was an accident. Obviously, there was damage. The kids that walked away, you don't know. I mean, everybody's kind of trained. I think in part of driver training is, okay, if you're in an accident, this is what you do. They did the exact opposite. So that just looks awful. And I mean, even just from being a human being, I mean, you stick around, you wait for the police and say, okay, yeah, we screwed up. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully for Rashee that he can kind of get this straightened out. It's a lesson to him, his friends, and everybody else. And hopefully, whoever did get hurt, it wasn't that bad.
Right.
Yeah, man. What I'm looking at it is like what Dre said. I kind of agree with him. Like with these young kids, they come in and they get this money and they get these luxury cars. I'll say if I'm the NFL, hey, your first year, your first contract of the NFL, you are not allowed to buy any luxury fast cars. You're only allowed to buy Toyotas and Honda Civics and maybe a little Chevy or something. But other than that, man, hey, everybody says he's probably guilty because he hired a lawyer. No, it's law. If your car was registered to you and it was involved in an accident and your name is on that car, you are liable to whatever happened. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? With that car, just like a company vehicle, you know what I mean? So you got to get yourself your name clear. But whatever, without that's been said, man, give the kid a fair shot. Like this is life. You give everybody a fair shot. Don't drag him on the rails. But if he did not, I was told that it was not. So that's what I was going to stick with until it's been proven otherwise. So with that said, man, hey, I pray for everybody that was involved, the kids, the families that that it happened to, they was on their way to go wherever they was on their way to go do, and this interrupted their day. The way they get back and forth to work, the way they transfer their kids back and forth to school. That's the main issue here.
Not going 180, not going 180, though. You're not getting your kids.
Well, we don't know he was going 180 miles an hour.
Okay, I'm talking about the people that was involved.
Okay,
they cars involved. They got messed up. They got totaled or jacked up. That's their liable transportation to get their children and families to the grocery stores, wherever they got to go. So with that said,
you can't legislate.
Rashee Rice, you got to know what you hanging around and who you got in your circle. If it was somebody in your circle or family members around it, you don't owe everybody everything. Yes, you the cash cow right now. Yes, you the golden ticket of the family. You don't owe everybody a lick of dime.
Right.
You don't owe nobody a destination to how to buy my house, buy my car, when they let them use your car, when they let to do anything. So as that, if I can, if you hear this, see anything, please let this be a lesson learned. Because I didn't pick up this type of energy when I met him or spoke to him. I didn't pick up this type of energy.
Go ahead.
As far as the league,
after Lou talk, we get to the comments.
Yeah, as far as the league is concerned, you can't really legislate against bad judgment, right? So no matter you can't.
Oh, he's getting suspended, Lou, no matter what.
Oh no. I'm just saying, when you said, well, don't let these guys buy these cars, they'll find a way. If you're looking to, in their case, have some fun some way. But I guess the point is they have the rookie symposiums and everything else. But again, it's hard to learn these lessons the hard way. right?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody teaches you, again, how you have this infuse of cash in your life,
right?
To just now, okay, you have to be responsible with it. It's easy to say, oh man, I'm going to go buy this guy. On the same day as this happened, you've got Michael Pittman Jr. posting a picture that he just bought his parents each a luxury sports car after he signed his big contract. So, I mean, that's like two ends of the spectrum. I mean, that's very, very nice thing for him to do. This is beautiful. He's doing this for his parents. And then you got a younger guy that's involved in this mess. So
that's why
somewhere in between, a little bit more education.
Before you get in the comments, let me say something else.
And I think for every kid, I think some sort of understanding what finances can do for you and how they can hurt you as well. So,
yeah, what I'm going to say is, I agree with Nick. I mean, I agree with Lou. But other than that, man, we got to learn. You gotta, like a wise man said, man, you always gotta learn from everybody else's mistakes and what not to do. You don't want to be a fool and keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You guys will learn where Henry Ruggs was. Hey, he got 11 years in prison. So let me not go speeding down this highway if that was him. But if it wasn't, you know what I mean?
Took a Honda Civic.
You got to learn, man, but you don't want to be the one that always making mistakes when, and let your friends, because some of them friends could be, put you in a bad situation when they see you on top of the world. You're on top of the world right now. You're a Super Bowl champion. Yeah. You one-on-one awards. You got awards for Rookie of the Year for the Chiefs, and you got all this stuff going on for yourself. Learn to let it's not enough oxygen for everybody when you climb into the top. You got to cut some of it off. So let's get to the comments.
Let's get to some comments here. Let's start bringing the people.
Man, I didn't shoot, man.
We went off the subject, sir. We went off the subject.
Okay, he won't do it. Desmond Bailey, let me post it real quick. Godly. All right. He won't do any jail time. If Jalen Carter was involved in a similar wreck pre-draft 2023, that killed 2 people and he got off with 12 months of probation and $1,000 fine. And Rashee won't be doing any time. So basically what he's saying is this: Rashee ain't doing no time, guys. He ain't doing no time. So real quick, Scotty Wentz, what's going on, guy?
It's a great comment by Scotty. Thanks, Scotty. Appreciate this one.
Absolutely. So truly feel terrible for all the victims involved in this accident. They got caught up in some trash. They got caught up in some trash that wasn't even their own. Now we have another highly skilled athlete that's tied to some. What did you say?
Nefarious. That's like a full silver dollar word there.
Scott. That is good. Scotty,
we might have Nick on this.
That's a dang good word. So whatever he was involved or not, his name is stuck to it regardless. So basically, I love the comments. So again, like what I said earlier, as an athlete, guys, as a pro black athlete, guys, we have to get away from the stereotype. In order for us to do that, we gotta stay out that situation.
Well,
what?
Yeah.
You said all that to say that, Drake.
No, I think.
Think about this though. Everybody that's involved in the last year, it was
right. I understand
involved in this situation.
Okay,
it never ended well.
It never do.
Never ended well.
And that's the thing too. You know, I've been doing this long enough that I've pretty much seen every kind of athlete in the NFL come to the Chiefs in every scenario. Good family values, not so good family values, struggles. I remember Arcal Trulock. He played for the Chiefs for 2 years. My favorite interview I ever did at Warpaint Illustrated. He grew up in the projects, and every single night, he heard bullets. Bullets put him to sleep. That's all he heard in his neighborhood was gunshots. And he overcame it, and he took care of his mom, and he got a contract with the Chiefs, and he did the right thing. And we don't know Rashee Rice isn't a good guy. From all accounts, there hasn't been any off the field issues. There was no problems with him at SMU. Right. He just had a baby, I think. He is a key part of this football team, and I get that's why some people are upset. But the entourages that follow some of these guys and the guys that come from, this could be a bunch of guys from the SMU football team or from people he knew at SMU that took his car out for a joyride. Again, all speculation because we just don't know the truth. But the bottom line is he's accountable to a certain degree. But, Hense, you make a great point. This is a moment in his life where he must decide, okay, if this was out of my control, but still in my control based on who I hang out with and who my inner circle is, I can fix that right away. The NFL is going to look at it like he was involved because it was his car. He's going to be suspended for some period of time, more than likely. And I think, Scotty makes a good point. You get caught up in your success. You get caught up in all these things to get to this point as an young NFL player. And it's unfortunate that other people get involved for bad decisions. And again, let's stress, I want to be perfectly clear on this. He has not been charged with anything. The only thing that we can see so far, if he wasn't there, is simply bad judgment on either letting somebody take his car or allowing them to put stuff in the car that makes him look bad. So the fact that we're 48 hours in almost, and we don't have any comment yet from an attorney or the Chiefs, other than I think Mark Donovan said a couple of things this morning, we still don't know. But a lot of this is in his control. Some of it was out of his control. What's going to be out of his control is where the damage is going to come, where the lessons are going to be learned, what was in his control to change the circumstances. Because Rashee Rice is the single biggest key for this offense going into 2024, because he was that next option for Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to hopefully doesn't have to train a new player to come in at wide receiver outside of Brown. The combination of Kelce, Brown, and Rashee Rice, and maybe Brendan Rice, the kid at UCF. I know the Chiefs are really high on him. His name is escaping me, the wide receiver.
Javon Baker.
Javon Baker, really high on the Chiefs list.
Alabama transfer to UCF.
Second round.
Yeah.
Just a little goodie there. So, I hope it all turns out okay. I hope we learn the truth. I hope people are satisfied with the truth, but this is going to stick with him no matter what. This is always going to be out there, and he's always going to be asked, because the Chiefs are the Manchester United of football. They are a global franchise. They have the greatest quarterback, the best coach, the best tight end, who's dating the hottest singer in the world. They just signed a rugby player who's got a lot of upside, which is going to be the focus of the show today. And we'll get to that in a minute. But you have to make sure these young guys, it's not worth it. Keep your eyes on the ball, move forward. He's going to get a lot of help and support, with his players. And I'm sure he's already gotten that. He probably knows he's made some mistakes, and let's hope he grows from it, if indeed this is the situation that some believe it to be.
The biggest part of it, and maybe this is something that we learned from Kareem Hunt, is for Rashee to be completely forthcoming about everything with the team, with his attorney, with the police, and just let the chips fall where they may. Yep. And then I think he'll get an opportunity with this team. The whole thing really, that's the one thing that I learned from the Kareem Hunt thing is you can't lie about what you did and then expect everybody to forgive you.
You don't lie to the owner of the franchise, exactly, point blank.
If
you say you took care of this matter,
if you're looking for forgiveness, you better let put all the cards on the table and say, yeah, I screwed up. No matter how it was, there, not there, other guys basically standing on his name and doing whatever the hell they did. Just, hey, this is what happened. It was a horrible mistake on my part, and let's move forward.
Get into the comments. Can you get us some comments for us, Nick?
Right. Well, Tom Hood said, these guys
would not disrespect me, sir. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just do this one. These guys need to understand that 1 minute of stupidity can cost you a career. Kareem Hunt's a perfect example. It cost him his career. He would have won multiple Super Bowls with the Chiefs. That was their running back for 4, 5, 6 years. They loved him, and he just did a stupid thing. And the reason that he got into so much trouble, his entourage. he never left the guys. He never left the boys that he grew up with. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they probably weren't of the best character. They weren't of the best. They didn't have Kareem Hunt's best interest in mind. And they put him in situations where he had to make decisions. And that's what I hope this isn't with Rashee Rice, because, again, the Chiefs have shown that despite how valuable a player is, if they think that this is just too much, they'll get rid of him. And losing Rashee Rice would be a huge, huge loss for this football team. Imagine no Rashee Rice last year. The Chiefs don't win the playoff games they win. They don't get to the Super Bowl. They don't win the Super Bowl if Rashee Rice didn't step up in the last month and a half of the season and in the postseason. I mean, he set a record, right, for most postseason catches by a rookie in franchise history or NFL history. I can't remember which. NFL Either way, history, that's a hell of an accomplishment. So, don't be stupid. You've got a gift, and enjoy it and nurture it. And Patrick Mahomes adores you. They're on speed dial. These guys are friends. Travis Kelce, the same thing. And now these guys have to take their relationships with Rashee to another level. And now they have to protect him instead of focusing on other things like, okay, what are we going to do different this year? This is always going to be hovering over them. So, and all the commentary that you're going to see is, we've talked to him. We're here to help him. He's our teammate. He's our brother. He's in no jeopardy, I think, of being kicked off the roster. He's in no jeopardy of being alienated in the locker room. Is he going to have to run a few more wind sprints up and down the stands at Arrowhead? Well, probably so. But I think that when it's all said and done, let's just hope he learns from whatever we learned today as to what the truth is.
Most definitely.
Getting back to the comments, Drake. Go back to the comments.
About time. God dang, sir. Man.
Having 1 point.
No, honestly, here we go. Sam said just a dumb move. And it is, Sam. It is a dumb move because, I mean, I know the young man is very intelligent. He's very smart. But we got to understand the history behind this. It never goes well. It only takes one time. It takes one time, and then it's over.
Yeah.
It'll take one time,
It takes the wrong thing. It takes the wrong thing for it to be over.
Scott said, "No one is here. No one is your friend. Most of are there just because the bank account is bigger."
Bingo.
So, if Rashee Rice, if you listen to that, hey, everybody ain't your friend. Oh, most of them there because you got a little change in your pocket. You know what I mean? Yeah, see who's gonna pay for see if somebody gonna buy you something off the dollar menu.
Yeah.
If they can't, then they ain't your homie.
Yeah.
Let them go. Let them rock. But other than that, man,
everybody don't want the dollar menu though. Everybody don't want the dollar menu.
No, they want the steakhouse. They want the steakhouse. Hey, I know Rashee Rice. He's my buddy, and we hang out together. Hey, you want to meet him? Rashee goes to dinner. He probably pays the tab. These guys probably aren't paying the tab.
There you go.
At any point. And again, and that's not necessarily Rashee Rice's fault because he's probably known a lot of these guys. And again, we're speculating. We're not stating fact. I want to be perfectly clear.
Just speculating.
If this was his entourage, and entourage is all encompassing. Friends of friends, family, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever it is. An entourage is an entourage that follows you, and they follow you because you're a celebrity. You're a superstar. The Chiefs are the number one item in sports right now next to Manchester United. I've said this. I'm going to say it over and over again to people understand this is a global franchise. And, he's got to cut ties with these people. I had a former player. I won't say his name, but I had a former player who I was doing a radio show with, and off air, he was talking to another athlete that I had on the show. And he had told him, hey, man, you got to invest in this deal. I'm like, well, so I asked him, being an entrepreneur that I am, I'm always looking for an opportunity. And I said, what is it? He goes, I think it's some sort of computer chip thing. I'm like, okay, well, what kind of computer chips? I don't know. It's my brother. It's my homie from home. And he assures me we're going to make millions of dollars. And the other player looked at him and said, are you dumb? What's wrong with you? Why would you just give this guy $300,000? Do you know the name of the company? He goes, well, no. He goes, he's going to ask you in 3 weeks for another $300,000. He goes, go get yourself some information. And that's not a common thing. That's not the first time I've heard that. And this isn't the situation with Rashee Rice. But again, guys, if you're going to come in the NFL and you want to establish yourself and you get the golden opportunity to catch passes from Patrick Mahomes, be coached by Andy Reid, and play with Travis Kelce, and play for the top organization in football, every move you make matters. Every move you make off the field is important. Every decision you make doesn't just affect you now, because on top of all that, you've got this massive kingdom, this Chiefs kingdom, that is both upset and sympathetic. Who's mad, who's angry, who gets it and understands it. Why take that on? Just go about your business, and when your playing career is over, just do whatever the heck you want.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's again hard deal for somebody that young and whatever to understand it. I think now, unfortunately, it takes something like this where I think he's going to realize just how massive that is. But again, it's hard. I mean, you think about your own friends growing up. I mean, they're pretty good dudes. I grew up with them. Right. And now all of a sudden they do something stupid because I got a little extra cash. It's hard to forecast that, right? Right. Unless they've showed signs before where maybe they were kind of using you or trading on your name, if you would. So hard to really get in front of that. But again, going back to my original point is just, a little bit more education for these guys in terms of finances, and then also some of the pitfalls that come with getting that first big contract and saying, okay, here's probably what's going to happen moving forward. And again, this situation may have had nothing to do with this, but again, it's just something that we go through on a regular, just about every year. Whereas this is his first time being in it. So again, I guess cut him a little slack, but not completely, because again, you have to show some responsibility. So
because a lot of people could have lost their life. Even including
a lot worse.
Including the people that was driving in that car, man. Even some kids that's probably in the back seat just playing on their tablets and watching Tiny Chef. A show that my niece be watching. But other than that, man, you got to think about before you just do something. Think about it before you do it. It's probably say fun, but again, it's a lot of speed tracks out here. You know what I mean? You want to go race. You don't want to have a lot of fun. Go on them tracks. Y'all millionaires. Go do things like that. If I was that guy that had that type of cash, I will be going
in a Honda Civic.
I'm staying in my Honda. I'm staying in my Buick. I stay in my Buick. My
1985 Buick Suburban.
But other than that, man, I'm praying for everybody in this situation. But another news, guys, and we got any more questions on this subject before we go on to the next?
I'm sure we'll come back to it. We have a little bit more time before the show ends.
There'll be a ton on that.
Or catch the Metro. It doesn't matter, man. Get me out of that situation. Like honestly, guys, for real. It just gotta be smart. That's all. Just be smart.
So another news: a Chiefs sign running back / wide receiver, and he will be wearing Juju Smith number 9.
Number 9.
Now you're disrespecting Blaine Gabbert. Juju's number 9. What about Blaine?
Clearly, Blaine is not coming back.
Blaine and put up the numbers Juju did when he was here. So
he did not.
So what you got to say about this, Lou? Since you on our first one,
we got a huge fan of Louis Rees-Zammit in my house. I'm telling you that right now. First thing, my daughter, Chiefs,
the girls love it.
Pennsylvania. Man, he's really handsome. And I said, yeah, that's probably why they signed him, Frankie. But no, I mean, he certainly fits, the international pathway is really kind of taken off. We talk about Scott Pioli a lot on this show with his involvement with the Chiefs, that he's a big part of the international pathway. And they run different combines in different countries in Great Britain and Africa. These guys come here, they whittle it down to 15, and they work out down at IMG Academy in Nick's old stomping grounds in South Florida.
Yeah, been there many times.
At the University of South Florida in Tampa, I think, where you see him running his 40. So this isn't something new or like out of the blue. The Chiefs just plucked this rugby player, and said, hey, we're going to sign him. So he has been going through the process of learning American football. The measurables whatever you believe, I 6'3", somewhere between 195 and 210 pounds, ran a 4.43. The GPS showed him at like 24 miles an hour. Now, granted, that's not in pads or
no
helmet
pads
or anything else.
Different shoes.
But the dude's pretty damn fast. Okay. The other thing is, now the explosion numbers weren't exactly what you'd think they'd be. I think he had a 29-inch vert, 9.7 broad, which again are good. But again, it's more football training. So again, this is kind of like a piece of clay you're bringing in. You're going to try to mold him. He's got all the athletic ability. Let's see what happens. This is interesting. I think really the only one that, well, I shouldn't say the only one, but the one that's made it the biggest, I believe, is with the Eagles. Jordan Mailata, the left tackle, he came from being a rugby player, never played college football or anything like that. And he's all pro, or at very least a pro bowler. So should be interesting. Obviously, the female fans seem to have spoken, or at least the ones I know. And
I see it all on Twitter.
They like him. This just in.
So this is my thing with these guys. I get we signing these guys from rugby, but give me one player that actually excelled from getting signed from rugby.
He just
give me one player that excelled.
Did you just say Jordan Mailata? Were you not listening? Was I on mute? Was I on mute?
But
you get the head today, Drake. You get the head. You get the head. Touch him.
So the next question is this. Okay, is he a good signing? Like what can he bring to the table? What can he bring to Kansas City?
Well, I'm looking at what I'm looking at is they probably gonna try him. Me, I'll probably put him at run back. I see how fast he be running. I said, shoot, it is 210, 6'3". You know what I mean? Put him at running back here. I know how to teach him how to carry the ball more, because I watched the highlights of the kid. I seen how he was running. I was like, well, you can tell he played rugby. How he running these routes, it's a little stiff. You got to get a little more loose with the hips.
Yeah, his hips are not a best asset from a football perspective versus rugby perspective.
So why sign him then? What was the point of signing him?
All right, let me explain it to you. Football 101.
Come on,
football 101.
If you find a guy who can do multiple things on the football field and have different skill sets, and you've just changed the special teams rules to favor a guy like this, you give him a 20-yard head start on kickoffs, I'm all in. If that's all he does, I'm all in. I thought Kadarius Toney was a lock to take on the special teams duties, but this young man has an opportunity with that speed, with his elusiveness, with his power. I mean, look at his legs. He makes Christian Okoye's legs look like mine. It's incredible.
We seen your legs, Nick.
I know, man. There's nothing to like about my legs whatsoever. They barely keep me walking every day. But that aside, the guy is just power, strength. He has a purpose. This is what I like. I mean, his dad played NFL Europe football. It was a dream for him to be in the NFL. This has always been this kid's dream. He made it very clear that at some point he was going to try out for the NFL. He looked at, I think 14. The Jets and the Broncos were two of them. I think the Titans may have been the other. And the Chiefs were pretty quick to sign him. And I have talked to some people that have told me that Andy Reid is very excited about seeing what he can do on the football field. And he's not going to be – he doesn't count. So he's a free player. They can keep him all 3 years because he's got an exemption. He doesn't have to be on the active roster. He doesn't have to be on the practice squad. He's their international signee for this year. And next year they'd have to make a decision. But I think he's got a chance to get on the field this year because he is so athletic. And I think as a gadget guy, listen, they may not bring McKinnon back. So here's a gadget guy. Not saying he can do all the things that McKinnon can do, but can you imagine putting him at fullback? That one might be kind of fun. The Chiefs don't have a fullback. What if you put him in the slot? What if you just say use that speed and do a go route or a slant? What if you use him for reverses? What if he's the 4th and 1 guy now? He knows how to get a yard. You don't have to put Patrick Mahomes in any kind of jeopardy. So I think when he's on the field, I think he's going to get some love. He's going to be the most fun thing to watch in training camp.
Well, me and my wife actually seen them coming in, and we was walking at the stadium. Me and Dre does it often. We was up there walking, so we seen them. They'll take them inside the stadium and go look inside the stadium. So I was like, who is that guy? I didn't know until I looked at the phone and seen it was breaking news. I was like, oh shoot, it's the kid that they just signed. But the thing is, like with Dre's, like what they can use him for, the plays that Rashee Rice does. You know, you like to dump off, do a screen pass, and have him run up the seams for a touchdown. I can see him doing that. Yeah, like Pat McAfee said, Pat McAfee was all over it. He did like a whole 30-minute take on how much amazing this gonna be for the Chiefs, and a lot of people going to overlook this because they're not understanding what this type of kid, what he can bring. Yeah. He could have stayed in. He could have stayed in rugby. He was one of the hottest rugby players that was playing right now, and he's only 23 years old. Mm-hmm. So looking at that, man, hey, if you can groom him and you got him on a cheap deal, and he's 6'3", runs a 4.3. Hey, why not?
Why not?
He'll be a tough gadget guy. He'll be a tough gadget guy. I know Andy Reid in that offense, a tough gadget guy. He'll be a tough gadget guy. All
right, why don't you read some of the comments? There's some people who feel differently than you.
Yeah, let's read Marilee's comment. Yeah,
well, Marilyn said, I don't see
a little bit of a potty mouth now. What's
Marilyn keeps it 100 though. I like Marilyn. Okay, Marilyn says this, I don't see him being a starter this season.
Starter, yeah.
Okay, and then see here. Who pressed that button for me? All right, Jerome Bunker said hook and lateral.
Right. That's what I thought. There you go.
Okay, Maryland again. Pat McAfee is the douchebag.
Beautiful, Maryland.
We don't need to get a name calling here.
Anonymous Mango said, in some positive news, I have heard from a few people that we are looking to bring back Mike Donald for a 2-year deal worth $20 million.
If he gets 20 million over 2 years, I'll start to question Brett Veach.
Hold on. Sam said this is going to be a very interesting. He looks like a faster Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly knows how to.
Go ahead, Nick.
He certainly knows how to cut back. He certainly knows how to move his body into the open holes. That would be an interesting 1-2 combination.
That's right,
for sure. Put them both on the field at the same time.
He's a Christian. It's a Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know if he's a Christian McCaffrey, but again,
if he turned into that as running back, then shoot. I better because playing the Chiefs.
There's no downside to this.
It's some molding going with him. He just got to be molded. Give him a year, mold him. Give him a year, mold him.
The international pathway is a great thing. Okay, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit because again, the players he was playing against weren't, the athletes that are in the NFL. Now, this isn't saying that he can't adapt. He can't become that. He can. But at very least, if you're talking about, and Nick keeps comparing us to Man U in terms of being an international team, this has got some amazing marketing qualities.
Sure.
Whether it be in Great Britain, anywhere in Europe, I'm sure they know who the guy is. Down under, everybody's, they're into that sport. Obviously, that's where my Lotta came from. Right. So again, if you're really looking at the kind of 10,000-foot view, he may not be that player right off the bat.
Right.
But at very least, again, it's just bringing more eyeballs to the Chiefs. And from, again, that international pathway, it is a thing, man. I'm telling you, these kids that are coming out of Africa, UC Umanyora does great work over there with that whole group. So it's a thing. I mean, the league is really pushing expanding into Europe, into Africa, other places, and this is just another piece of the puzzle, is getting some of these guys involved so that fans from those areas have an even bigger interest to see guys that they know.
Well, the Chiefs are expected to play in Germany next year as the road team, I think, against the Carolina Panthers. That seems to be the consensus that I've heard some rumblings toward that. So there'll be a big following there. And, I again, there's no downside to this.
Right.
And trust me, I've talked to enough people who say this isn't a gimmick. This is someone they generally believe that can help this offense, even if it's 10 or 12 snaps a game or 5 snaps a game. He can do some things to where it's just another possibility for Patrick Mahomes. And if we know anything about Patrick Mahomes, he's taken average football players with less athleticism as Rees-Zammit has and gotten productivity out of them. So I think I can't wait till he goes down to Texas and he gets to work out with Patrick. And I'd love to hear Patrick's comments after the first workout, because there's one thing that I noticed with him. He knows how to catch the ball. Even in the clips we saw of IMG, and they're doing a documentary on this whole thing on NFL Europe media or something like that. His hands are already in good places. He understands how to catch the ball. He understands where to catch the ball. He understands how to relate the ball and put it in his body and secure it. You know, those are God-given gifts. And being a rugby guy, he just has to sight his sets on a ball about this big, and have it a little bit smaller and obviously a little bit more pointed. But he has that, and the speed and vision. It's a matter of, how quickly can he get up to NFL speed? Because the sports are, as he said in the interviews, some of the interviews, there's about 25 plays in rugby. There's probably 1,000 plays in the NFL. And if anybody's seen Andy Reid's playbook, it's pretty thick. And so, again, this is a good project. I love the signing. I applaud the Chiefs for going outside the box. And we don't know what we've got, but he'll be the most popular person next to Kelsey and Mahomes. And maybe Chris Jones in training camp. He'll be the most sought after person, I bet.
I say this. That's a good marketing. Yeah, that's a good marketing scheme.
Swift, Zammit, Patrick.
Yeah, it's all marketing. It's all marketing. That's all it is. It's all marketing for the league. That's all it is. So I took it from that standpoint. It's a good marketing plan. So it's cool.
Right. Yeah, well, glad we have your blessing, Andre.
Well, he does have some skills, so we'll give him that. We'll just see how quickly they transfer. I mean, he's got a shot.
Yeah,
especially with Andy Reid. So listen.
Speaking of having a shot, get your shot with Eric Haynes. Let's get into it.
All right, let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes. With the Eric Haynes Group, you can reach Eric at 816-729-3785. He is my personal real estate advisor. He's also one of my best friends. And when you're able to work with your best friends and you're able to find someone who can go through all the nuances it takes to buy a house these days, and it is not like the old days where you signed a piece of paper and you had a handshake and you had your bank transfer the money. It is so much more complicated now. There are rules, state rules, regulations. There are document after document after document it takes to negotiate a successful sale price and to complete the transaction. You want somebody who is detailed, somebody who understands how to cross every T and dot every I. And he can get you from showing your house, looking at your house, deciding to buy your house, to getting your keys, which we will have this weekend. We're so excited. I want to thank Eric for all his hard work. So I want to thank Eric too. Give him a call at 816-729-3785 because there's nobody better than Mr. Eric Haynes.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who.
And there you go. That too.
But looking at other stuff that happened, Andy Reid threw out his first pitch. Mm-hmm. I was there, and I seen him behind the plate. But the guy, the guy threw a nice little strike. He did. But again, it was a nice seeing that. But now, what do you guys think of this? Guys, doing this and everything about that. Nick,
the fact that he threw the pitch to George Brett. I mean, you're talking about one of my idols. He's one of the greatest baseball players of all time, and have Andy Reid out there and throw a perfect strike to George. And it doesn't get any better than that. It's too bad the Royals lost that day, but nonetheless, they did win yesterday in a big rout, so they're 1-2 on the season. But I listen. Andy Reid he is so vastly different from when I first covered him when he came to Kansas City. He was kind of short with the media. He didn't give out a lot of answers. But over the last couple of years, he's had to do a lot more media stuff. And even locally, he's a lot more jovial. He's out in the community a lot more. And I think he's just a national treasure for Kansas City. Will go down as the greatest coach in the Chiefs history. And that surpassing my former neighbor, Hank Stram. He's just an amazing person. And to see his personality come through, and the fans just absolutely, man, that was probably the loudest ovation, of the day almost was for his appearance. And, we love Andy, and thank God he's in Kansas City. He's about to become one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, and he's prepping for the three-peat. And again, having George Brett as part of that was just sweet stuff for me.
Other than the fact he didn't do it from the mound. You knew
they no longer do that.
Yeah.
They don't allow people. They don't allow people on the mound anymore.
Because everybody within like 20 yards is like fair game because of all these like terrible first pitches that you see.
He was much better at it than Travis Kelce was. I'll tell you that.
But the fact that he throws a strike and then he throws it to George Brett. I mean, it's like Kansas City sports, like a little microcosm right there. That was the coolest part for me. That it was George Brett, but then Coach Reed just firing it right down the middle. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, that was good stuff. You definitely I enjoyed every minute of that. That was great.
So, but look at it. A lot of people's comments. Somebody commented and said, "Can you catch him up on the Rashee Rice news?" You want to go back into that, or you guys?
No, I mean it's all good. I mean, we can talk about this. I don't know if you have the quote from Mark Donovan this morning or not, but he was talking to, I think, who was it here? KMPZ News or something like that this morning. Hold on, I got it here somewhere. He basically, let's see here. Sorry. All right. He was on KCMO Talk Radio this morning, and he said, in all these situations, you have to wait for all the facts. We don't have all the facts. We'll get to the bottom of it, and we will act accordingly. He obviously was on the radio today to pitch the big vote tomorrow for the stadium tax in Kansas City. That's going to affect the Royals and the Chiefs and where they're going to play when their contracts are up or even before that. The Royals have stated pretty heavily that they intend to stay in Kansas City. The Chiefs might explore their options on the other side of the state line. This vote is important, but obviously people want to talk about Rashee Rice, and I'm sure the Chiefs are well aware. As we said earlier, we can confirm Justine Anderson's report that he has indeed hired legal counsel. It has been roughly 45 hours, maybe 44 hours since the incident occurred. It occurred on Saturday afternoon. The highway was shut down for a significant period of time. We do not know, though some have stated that he was not there. We do not know if somebody stole his car. We do not know what was in the car. All these things are being investigated. And I would just say to the Chiefs Nation, some people have said some things that I don't particularly care for. Let's not lose sight of innocence before guilty. Let's not lose sight of compassion. If he ended up doing a stupid thing, he's going to pay a price for it. He's going to lose money in his pocketbook. He's going to miss games with his teammates, and he's going to have the stigma attached to him for the rest of his career. Now, can he overcome that? All of it? Of course he can. From all accounts, he's a good kid. Didn't get in trouble in Dallas, didn't get in trouble in Kansas City. So, maybe this is an isolated event, but he's got to learn from this. If indeed it was, part of the people that he hangs out with, then he needs to shrink in his inner circle and just focus on what's most important. And hopefully he gets that situation, but he's not going to be suspended for a year. He's not going to be not a part of the Chiefs organization unless he has lied to the Chiefs over the last 24 hours about his involvement or non-involvement. That would be the only thing I could see. And from all accounts, I just think the guy's more accountable than that. And I think that the bad judgment probably was, letting some of his buddies joyride the car, if indeed he was not in the car as a driver or passenger. So there is expected today to be an announcement from his legal counsel. I'm aware of his legal counsel, and I think at some point, maybe today, we should get some sort of comment that may not clarify the situation, but might answer some of the questions and some of the accusations and innuendos and speculation that's gone out there. He is innocent until proven guilty. We said the same thing, or I did, about Tyreek Hill. Now, what Tyreek Hill has done after he left Kansas City, but all that madness that occurred, there was enough evidence and say, hey, just listen, let's get all the facts out. And the NFL ultimately agreed, and they didn't suspend him. Now, he hasn't done a lot of great things since he left Kansas City. He's gotten into a lot of trouble and probably got in trouble more times in Kansas City than we're aware of. But this is not the same person, the same situation, the same type. Rashee Rice is a good kid. He's also a very valuable piece to this football team and this franchise and their success offensively. So he'll be awarded every opportunity, provided he cooperates, he sets the record straight, and he can convince the Chiefs organization and his teammates that all that happened was just being a stupid kid, and I'm going to learn from it, and he's going to make the changes in his life going forward. That's all we know at this point. Any other speculation is just completely irresponsible. And again, remember, he's a kid, and yes, he needs to be held accountable. But there are NFL guys that have done a lot of worse things, and I'm talking the ultimate of things. And they still played football, and they were still beloved. And I think at the end of the day, whether this is him or it's not him, whether he was there or not there, the truth is going to come out. There's too many cameras. There's too many people who took snapshots that we probably haven't seen yet. There's definitely some videos out there. I can't tell. He's got a scar above, I think, his right eye. If I could see his right eye, if I could see the eye and that scar is there, that's him 100%. Because it's it's an obvious scar. We don't know that because we can't tell. We can't see it. There are other pictures out there of people who look similar to him that are people that know him. So again, just let it all play out. That's kind of the best update that I can give you as of 1:12 p.m. Central Time.
Right.
Well, you know how social media is. Everybody just wants to run with the story, and if they don't have information, typically they'll just make it up, and then it just becomes it just kind of feeds on itself. And somebody reads a headline, and they run with it and embellish it even more. So, I mean, it's hard to sit here and you want to know. Well, you just got to wait until official information comes out, and hopefully, it all works out. For the kid, for anybody that was involved. So there is no huge news right now, other than the fact we're waiting for some comment from his attorney or from Rashee himself.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the only thing we can get. If you missed it, you can go and want to hear more of our take. Just rewind the show. Rewind the live button, and we were there. We explained it more. But looking at it's April, guys. The draft is coming up. The Chiefs, got the 32nd pick. They got the 64th pick, the 95th pick, 103rd pick in the 4th round. But looking at all this, a lot of people want to ask, and I think it was a fair question. A lot of people are asking, do this alter the Chiefs draft choices? What's going on with Rice? Do this after they draft? Do they alter what they're going to do, or what they planning on doing, or do they stick to the guns or stick to the board, what they already got planned to do? So what you have to say about that, Nick?
Well, I think the impact of all this situation is pretty similar to the impact that it may have had when Tyreek Hill went through his stuff. But I think the Chiefs draft board is the Chiefs draft board. They're going to take a tackle. They're going to add at least one wide receiver. They need another tight end. If this thing turns south, then maybe that changes the plans. They could go wide receiver rounds 1 and 2. I mean, at this point, all options are on the table. Maybe they make a trade for a veteran. I mean, the Chiefs have enough cap space right now. They haven't used any of it since the trade was official with L'Jarius Sneed. They're $27 million in cap space. So, my guess is they're probably going to try to extend, the center and the guard in Humphreys and Smith. That would make the most sense. But listen, Brett Veach is the most organized, detailed guy who sees the big picture. He has a scenario for every situation. If he's going to lose Travis Kelce this year, well, he's going to have to find someone to replace him this year. If he's going to need another backup quarterback for Patrick Mahomes, he's got to find that, which I think they will. I think Ryan Tannehill would be a perfect choice as the backup in Kansas City. But, to answer your question, with all these picks, wouldn't that be a great let's see, Mitchell in 1, Leggett in 2, Burton.
Every wide receiver available. Come on down.
I love it.
Hey, we gotta get one of them right. We gotta get one of them right.
You would think between Leggett and Mitchell,
you'd hope one of them works out. Yeah.
Could definitely be again the kid from UCF. I'm telling you right now, their Chiefs are very, very high on him.
They got a top 30 visit with him, right?
Javon Baker, yeah. And
Baker,
if you saw
Baker's not bad. He's not a bad prospect.
That catch that Baker made, what was it against? Who was it against? Was it against Kansas State? It was 4th and 28, and he caught it. He got 30 yards out of the play, after a mad scramble. It was a beautiful thing to watch. I can't remember if it was Kansas State or not.
Right.
But, the Chiefs, hey, they're going to find the right mix. Their board isn't going to alter that much. They know exactly who they think is going to be available. And, we'll see how much wheeling and dealing that Brett Veach does, because he's not going to sit idle. There's going to be at least one trade in the draft, to move up and down, and possibly two, because, they only have, 7 picks. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out.
I don't think it alters the plan at all. Hence, I think they're still going to attack the board as if they were, that they're at full strength. Now, if for some reason or another they learn or have an idea that maybe Rice is down for several games, maybe they bring in one of these veteran wide receivers. I think Tyler Boyd is still out there, and he could be a guy that, 1-year deal. Again, if he's amenable to it, if he's looking for something a little bit longer term, he probably starting to realize that he would have gotten that already if the market was there for it. So that could be a guy. But in terms of the draft itself, I think they stick with it. Again, if the right tackle falls to them, not the right tackle, but the correct tackle, the one that they like, falls to them at 32.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
I think they jump on him. If it doesn't, then and again, the receiver board is there and they feel like, okay, we really like this guy and he maybe fell a little bit more than we expected. They jump there. Could certainly be a defensive. It could be an edge player. I mean, again, they're in such good shape roster wise that they can go in any one of those directions. And the fact that the receiver group, again, on paper, and as far as the way we see it or the way I see it, is fairly deep. Now, again, we may be completely overrating this wide receiver group, but it just seems to me, following the draft for 40 plus years or whatever, that this is a pretty deep group and a lot of talent there. And just the way the college game has changed, that these guys are coming in a little bit more pro ready. Not exactly, because the defenses aren't exactly the same in college.
Absolutely.
But in terms of the skills, in terms of just, catching the ball, tracking the ball. So again, it's eye in the beholder type stuff. But again, to me, it seems like that group is pretty deep and the Chiefs can go in any number of ways. And like Nick said, I'm sure at some point, Brett will see somebody that he really likes and he'll make that move to go get him, whether it's up or down.
Yeah,
I say the Chiefs. I said honestly, real quick though, Bo. I think the Chiefs go tackle, regardless of the fact, because honestly they go tackle because, like I said, their receiving core is already established. You got Hollywood, you got Watson, you got Sky Moore, right? You still got Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, this is my thing. You go tackle, you solidify the side. If a good tackle is there, but to me, honestly, they don't shy away from the draft board. They still go tackle. Find the best tackles out there. If not, they probably go elsewhere. But I don't believe they're going to alter anything when it comes to the Rashee Rice.
Because you see they having with Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill, the situation happened in that they jumped the gun and got Nico Hardman. But the thing is, like, okay,
Super Bowl winning catch, Nico Hardman.
Super Bowl winning Nico Hardman. He probably is on his way back to Kansas City. But again, the thing is, guys, hey, like Lou said, this wide receiver class is deep, as you've seen in past histories. But again, if Mitchell was sitting there, if Leggett is sitting there, if Brandon Rice is sitting there, if Brian Thomas Jr. is sitting there at 32, my eyes is I'm thinking Brian Thomas Jr. is on their depth board. I think that's the guy they really want. Because that'll be the all-around wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. But besides Brandon Rice,
but that all depends. I mean, that all depends on what they really think of Wanya Morris. Right. I mean, they were very high in him last year. He did a good job, didn't do a great job in pass protection, but he was a mauler in the run game. If they think he can take the next step up, maybe he's their left tackle and they still draft a tackle, but not in the first round. Maybe they go receiver one and left tackle in the second round or even in the third round. I mean, the Chiefs have shown they can find starters on their offensive line, just not in the Brett Veach era. The Carl Peterson era was just equally as good at that. as well. I mean, Brian Waters was an undrafted free agent. You got guys that they can pluck out there and put in. And Smith was a 6th rounder. Dave Zott was a 7th rounder, and he started every game, until he moved on as a free agent to go to play with the Jets. So, again, I don't think this situation is going to change anything. It may make them notice, okay, well, maybe there might be a guy at this position. Maybe we move up, a couple of spots to make sure that we get him. Because we know this is an area of need. This is the highest guy we have on our board. Those kinds of things will probably take place. But, we are 4 weeks from Thursday. It's just crazy. 4 weeks from Thursday at the very start for the first night of the NFL draft. It's my favorite. It's one of my favorite sporting events. It's not really a true sporting event, but it's a spectacle event. And, everybody for the last 2 years, 31 teams have decided to draft players to beat the Chiefs. And I think it's fascinating. And I enjoy it. I think there's going to be a lot of drama between now and then. I think you're going to learn a lot about the AFC West with this draft this year. I think you're going to learn exactly what they think of their chances to compete this year with the Chiefs or next year, or if they're just going to starting over from scratch and rebuilding and retooling their franchises, because all three, Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders, they're a mess. They're either a mess from their player standpoint or their cap situation. The coaching situation seems to have stabilized once and for all. But I'm telling you, it's going to be fun watching what they do to try and defeat the Chiefs this year.
Well, you got 2 teams that are desperate need of quarterbacks, and they're not, and they both would have to make I don't know about a dramatic move, but it's certainly a move to go up. You would think, to get one of the top guys. If they sit back and wait, then you're probably looking more towards like a Bo Nix or something. And it depends on what does Denver think of him? What do the Raiders do? Are they going to move up? Then you have the Chargers, or you hear Jim Harbaugh talk like hell. If the first 4 guys are quarterbacks, we get the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So
he's in a great spot.
Are they going to get, they're going to go offensive tackle?
Of course
you would think. I mean, that's kind of on brand for him. But, again, if all those receivers are sitting there, they then, hey, we can trade back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, it's going to be really intriguing. The cat and mouse, who's willing to come up, who isn't, which quarterbacks are going to pan out. We know that half, maybe even 75% of them won't turn out well. Right. If I'd have told you before that Trevor Lawrence draft that, like, 5 or 6 of these guys are going to be on different teams before the end of their first contract. I mean, seriously, that's just, it's nuts. So it's always just fascinating.
Yeah, just go like I said, do with all the picks. Go get them all. Just see what you can do, what you can't do.
I do like Taj Washington quite a bit. I like this just for the record.
That's what you go do. So ask some of the questions, Dre. What do people saying about it, sir?
Well, some comments, sir. Let's go ahead.
Get to him.
Okay, Baker has one of the highest drop rates in the class. Hope we passed on that. Agree. I was trying to tell Nick that. I was trying to get it to Nick though. Like, I know the Chiefs are high on him, but his drop rate is not too shabby.
They fixed Rashee Rice's drop rate in training camp, preseason games, and early in the regular season. And he dropped 2 passes over the last 12 games. So I'm good.
It makes sense. I'll give you that. All right. Jerome Buckner says right now in this season to deceive. The teams will draft folks they never seem to be interested in. Can't wait to see what happens. Well, Bowtie knows that one. Bowtie knows that one. He knows that one very well.
Yeah, you like, what the heck? Where did this guy come from? But that could happen. That can happen.
It is lying season. Absolutely.
It is.
Don't believe a thing. Don't believe a thing you hear.
Yeah. No, you can't. This is. There's so much. It's like when every team's allowed to bring in 30 players. And they don't have an intent to draft probably 2/3 of them, but they want teams to think that they do. Right. And a lot of times, in these interviews, they learn stuff about other players that were either on those teams or, roster mates of some of the guys that they bring in. So there's a lot of deception that goes along, and that's just what makes the NFL great. I mean, is the Chiefs' number one pick? I believe McDuffie was not brought in, if I'm not mistaken, and they were targeting him clearly well before the draft. Prognosticators or all that. Nobody thought the Chiefs had any interest in him. So, Brett Veach is going to do what they could do. Carl Loftus, I think, was a pretty reasonable pick. I think a lot of people expected, he could be a guy that the Chiefs bring in. And, again, it's the best part of the draft. In April, it's April 1st. We have to go through the April Fool's nonsense today, so we'll get through it. But, we've got 4 weeks and 3 days until the draft. And I can't wait.
Everybody's playing poker right now. Don't
hey,
believe him.
Lou, you just said it. Look, everybody is playing poker right now because we all on this panel think they might go receiver. I think they go tackle. They might go punter in the first round. Who knows? They might get a punter. They might get a legit punter. We don't know.
They may get a pass rusher. Who knows?
Don't forget about the punt god. Okay, that's another big signing this year.
They probably get TJ Temper.
And I'll tell you what, a couple of guys, they brought some very handsome young men they're bringing in. I keep hearing that from, just within my own house. So
within your own house, I see it.
Sources close to me tell me that the punt god and the rugby player are very hot.
Sources very close to close to
due to our technical difficulties on Friday, we didn't have a chance to give a shout out to the Queen of the Kingdom.
That's right.
I wish her a happy birthday. So go ahead, Nick. Let's go ahead and start off.
Yeah, the Saint, Norma Hunt. She passed away this past year. This was the first Super Bowl that she had missed. She had been to every Super Bowl since its infancy. Of course, her husband, the late Lamar Hunt, coined the phrase Super Bowl off a Super Bowl that, if you're a kid in the 60s like me, you remember what those were. And Norma was a wonderful person, a great humanitarian. She's the first lady of the National Football League. She will always be that. I know this is very difficult for Clark Hunt and his family to not have her, but she's up there watching with Lamar, and she's watching with Hank and Lenny, and I'm sure they're enjoying the ride that we're currently in. And losing her was very difficult, but she will never be forgotten. And let's never forget. Those that made this franchise great in the past are just as important as those that made this franchise great now. We are in unprecedented times. So if you're going to be negative, remember the Super Bowl gap for your era is 2 seasons. Lou and I spent 50. That's 5 decades. That's 50 years of my soon-to-be 62-year-old self on the planet.
That's a long time.
That's a long effing time. And so when news like this comes out about Rice or something else or that, remember, you have the greatest football team in the current era, and we owe a lot to Clark Hunt and Norma Hunt. They saw the vision. They bought this team in Dallas. They formed the AFL. They moved them to Kansas City. They could have gone to any other city, but they chose Kansas City. And for the last 60-plus years, this has been my team through up and down, thick and thin. And let's never forget those that put us where we're at and who brought the Chiefs to Kansas City.
All right. Well said, Nick. Happy birthday, Norma. And best to the family and however they decided to celebrate her.
Heavenly birthday. Yeah, let's go and get to our sponsors before we close out and get a last segment.
All right, let's do it. All right, first we're going to talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your trusted real estate advisor. You can reach Eric on his cell at 816-729-3785 or his email, pretty simple, esellskc@gmail.com. If you're looking for someone who can find your house or sell a house in the Kansas City metropolitan area and the surrounding communities, he is your guy. Give him a call at 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
Proud sponsor of Chiefs Who. And, of course, Mr. Dave Purdy. He is your mortgage specialist. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831. Got a big announcement about Dave coming later in the week. We'll be able to talk about that. I'm pretty excited for him. But definitely give him a call, 816-405-5831. Whether you're a W-2 or 1099, you need someone who understands numbers. If you're looking to do a refinance, if you're looking to do debt consolidation, just give him a call and let him evaluate your situation. It doesn't cost you anything but time. And if you can give him 15 minutes, he might be able to save you money. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want to do. So give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is pretty good. That's right. Don't forget the people that got us here, guys.
That's right. Let's go
ahead, Dre.
Let's give a shout out to some of the new people. All right, Weston Brewster. If I said his name right, Weston Brewster. What's going on? How you doing, Phil? Appreciate the comment. And let's get down to it. Kareem, what's going on? Jerome Buckner, what's going on? Marilyn, of course, she speaks her mind very fluently. Very fluently, and I love it about her. All right. St. Clair, let's see. Tom, what's going on, Tom? Anonymous Mango, what's going on? Of course, my boy Sam, what's going on? Desmond, what's going on, Desmond? Appreciate the love. Vincent, of course, can't forget Vincent. Let's see here, guys. Am I missing somebody, guys?
Was Freeway up today?
Yeah, he was up. He said, "State of Texas fleeing automatic felon." Hey, nobody. Greg Coleman, right? Scotty Wentz had a nice comment today, and an awesome comment.
Yeah, Scotty did a great job. Scotty made some really good points, and he's very factual in his opinions because I tend to agree with him. So, and also our
Richard and Hense, you want to go and do the honors with this one, sir?
Richard, he said he was frustrated with the nonsense that happened with Rashee Rice. But again, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. What you got to say?
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make sure that we had a couple of prize winners. I was a little late getting to the punch, but Marilee Trahan received her gift, and
what did she get? What did she get?
She got a signed Eddie Kennison card. She's a big Kennison fan, so we did that.
All right.
And then we got Kareem's gifts, which are not disclosed because the post office in his particular town is extremely slow. I think they're still working on the crank automobiles that get you to your residence, but hopefully here in the next couple of days.
That was Pony Express, the Kareem's
Pony Express.
House. He's like on some mountain.
Yeah, Utah's a different island completely. So hopefully he gets those this week. And again, we'll be doing a lot more giveaways. And just remember, guys, it's NFL draft month. There's you have a lot of personal choices out there, but I don't think you're going to find more people collectively that understand and evaluate players, how they fit. These guys, Lou and Hense and Andre, they know these guys by name. I'm not as good as that. I'm more of a guy I fixate on and like, go get Bowers, okay? It doesn't matter what else you draft after that. And then when the Chiefs get there, I'll kind of, I remember watching this guy, and I'll make the comments. You give me him. But, this is a great place. The offseason is where we shine. Check out chiefsblitz.com for all your written content. Subscribe at our YouTube channel at Chiefs Blitz, Facebook at Chiefs Blitz, Twitter at Chiefs Blitz. Everything is at Chiefs Blitz. There's no hidden things. We are on Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. Just tell your friends. Let's grow this thing together. And we enjoy doing it. We generally like each other. We generally love each other. The four of us have a great time. And the month of April is going to be both fun and crazy. And we're gonna be here for every minute. And then after the draft is over, we're going to tell you right away where there was a good pick, bad pick, who the undrafted free agent guys, how this all fits. And then they have the rookie minicamp. And then they have the other minicamps with the team. And then they have the OTAs and mandatory minicamp in June. We're going to be there for it for every step of the way. So,
the NFL never sleeps. The non-playing season,
4 weeks. It sleeps for 4 weeks
for 31 teams. Is bigger than the regular season. So let's go.
Yes, mid-June to mid-July. That's about the only break that the Chiefs organization takes. Before they head to, I almost said River Falls, but before they head up to St. Joe. And Hense and I are and Andre will be up there. We'll be able to hopefully get a few interviews, but watch some practices and kind of get the evaluation process going. So we're excited about that. Lou, I know you're not going to move.
Louis Rees-Zammit.
Yes.
I may
Lou, you need to move down here. Come on.
Choose this summer to make my initial pilgrimage to the fine kingdom.
We are getting to a game next year, so we'll once the schedule comes out, probably we'll get some tidbits probably about a week before the draft. Who the Chiefs' first game will be. Usually they do it at the NFL owners meetings, which they didn't do it this year. At the end of last month. So,
typically when the schedule, right before the schedule release, they start leaking the top games and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I've got like 3 options. They play, as far as within my little drive here, I think they play in Cleveland, in Buffalo, and in Pittsburgh. So I got 3 shots on road games for sure.
Yeah. I would say Pittsburgh's probably your best chance for seats.
They said, so did Hense remove his stuff from all social media? I didn't scrub myself from the 4 guys at the bar. He said, TZ, here I come. Happy April Food.
Yeah,
I didn't leave. I'm staying, guys. Happy April Fools. Make sure you go fool everybody, your wife, your kids, your loved ones. Have fun. And again, you continue to keep those that was involved in Dallas in prayers.
Yes, for all those injured, absolutely.
Again, and enjoy and love this. We are still Super Bowl champs, no matter what image people try to throw our way. We are still, they still can't take that from us. And don't forget to vote. Whatever you choose to vote, I'm not going to force you to vote, but I know I'm voting. I know what I'm voting. So with that said, that will be like yes on my end.
Jackson County taxpayers, this is not a new tax. You've been paying for it for decades. It hasn't gone up or down.
It's not a new tax.
There are a lot of financial incentives that the Chiefs and the Royals have put in. The Royals have agreed to a lease. The Chiefs have agreed to a lease parameters should the vote pass. If you want them to stay in Kansas City, this is your time to shine. I think regardless of what happens, one of these franchises, more than likely the Royals, is going to still commit to downtown. The Chiefs will explore options. And I think that I actually ran into Mark Donovan at the Royals game, and he turned around and he says, vote. I said, well, we'll let everybody know that they should vote yes. There's a lot of naysayers out there, but in the end, this is the best scenario to keep them in Jackson County. They've been there for so long. I'd hate to see that change. Even if the Chiefs aren't putting a dome stadium up somewhere there, I don't want them to leave Kansas City, Missouri, unless there is just absolutely no option if this vote fails. So let's think positive. Vote yes. Polls open at 7 a.m. I think they close at 7 p.m. News about 8 o'clock or so probably will come out, whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down. And just vote with your heart. And again, it's not a new tax. This is a tax that's been on the books for a long time. They're just simply asking you to extend it to cover some of the upgrade costs that these stadiums are going to need throughout the life of their leases. So that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. All right, everybody. You guys have a great Monday. Stay tuned to ChiefsBlitz.com. We'll have more information about Rashee Rice as it happens. And any other Chiefs news that breaks, we'll have it for you there. Check us out social media at Chiefs Blitz, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Gents, peace out. Enjoy your day.
Subscribe.